What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome back to the Just Gonna Say It podcast. This is something that we do every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Just chat about guitar stuff and hang out and etc. I hope you all are having a fantastic week. It's been going pretty well for me. Been pretty busy. Been doing lots of stuff. Making pickups, shipping stuff, normal things. I actually got to play some guitar yesterday and today, which is pretty cool since I got a new one. That's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, man, it's going to be kind of a fun conversation. For those of you that are new to the channel, all of our live streams are ad-free. So if you want to support the channel, you can do a couple things. You can use a super chat during the live stream. You can just watch or share or, that free kind of stuff. There's also a bunch of links in the description of this video, companies that support the channel. You use those links, it helps the channel. And then, of course, the subject of our video this week was our P90s and our other pickups, because that's what we do here at Dylan Talks Tones. We make pickups, so you can go check them out. So yeah, man, this is going to be a cool conversation. Hang on one second. I don't know why my head's itchy. My hair is getting too long again, I think. Okay, so you saw the thumbnail. Either you're a Gibson guy or you're not. This title came from a comment on one of my pictures the other day. I got this Gibson Custom Shop guitar the other day, and somebody asked, "Hey, is it really worth it over a regular Gibson?" And my answer to them was, "It depends. It depends on what's important to you, right?" If my suggestion would be, and this is with any guitar, it doesn't matter if it's a Gibson, it doesn't matter anything. If you pick up the guitar and it doesn't do anything for you, then it's not worth the money. If you can afford it and you pick it up and it does something and you love it, then it's worth the money. It's as simple as that, right? A lot of people want to reduce everything to cost of parts, but for those of us that know how life really works, it's not like that, and so we're going to talk about a little bit today, not just Gibson stuff. I'm using that as an example because that's people get the most emotionally invested for some reason in the Gibson brand. I don't know why, either tearing it down or building it up or whatever, making comparisons to it and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is this conversation is more about finding out who you are. Okay. This doesn't have anything to do with the guitar, really. Where do you belong in the market? Are you a Gibson guy? Are you not a Gibson guy? Are you a Harley Benton guy? Are you a Fender guy? Are you a PRS guy? Are you a insert any Chinese guitar here guy? Are you a custom shop person, right? Are you a custom guitar maker, small builder person? Who are you? That's really what we want to talk about, because a lot of folks want to, like I said, reduce the item. They focus too much on the item. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It could be a pocket knife. It could be, for me, it's either a pocket knife or some kind of pistol, or, a fountain pen, or, electronic device for the house, or, computer, or, anything that you buy. Doesn't matter. Vacuum cleaner, right? It doesn't matter. Are you the person for that item? The item already exists. The design has already been established. The product is already on the market. So this conversation has very little to do with the item itself. Whether you think a Gibson Custom Shop guitar is worth it or not is you. It has nothing to do with the guitar. So we're going to break that down. The bottom line is this, is that any product, okay, that cannot give you something that you want it to give you, you are not the person for that product. The product already exists. There's nothing wrong with the product inherently, unless there's an actual issue, right? So, if it's a poorly designed something that will fail, that is, and I'm not talking about Gibson headstocks here. I'm talking about like true failures in the marketplace. But for the most part, most products, if the item doesn't give you what you want it to give you, then it's not for you. But the product itself is fine. I think we spend too much time with that flipped around. Well, Gibson sucks, so I'm not buying one. No, you suck. Like if you sat down and thought about what you're actually saying, it would make more sense. So that's kind of what we're going to do. Obviously, and if you do get all the things that you want of value out of that instrument or out of that object, then it's worth it to you, right? And honestly, it doesn't matter what the cost is. It could be $200, it could be $20,000. It doesn't matter. Anywhere in between. If the thing gives you what you want it to do, like if you pick up a guitar, an amp, a guitar pick, a set of strings, and it gives you the thing that you want it to do, then it doesn't matter how much it costs, as long as you're willing to spend it, right? So it has really little to do with the product. It's a really interesting bit of psychology. If we think about the Gibson brand specifically, so I'll just tell you how I feel. A lot of people, first of all, let's get this straight. Gibson's never given me anything. They don't. PRS has never given me anything. Actually, none of these brands have ever given me anything. They've never given me anything. I've always had to pay for them myself, okay? I got one Epiphone product one time at a discount, like a couple percent. It wasn't even that much. Probably like a Black Friday-ish sort of discount. I got one Epiphone product that way once. Everything else I've always had to pay full pop for, full pop for. So when somebody wants to accuse somebody of being a shill or whatever, that's not me. For those of you that follow the channel, you'll know that I am an exploratory person. I will buy stuff just to try it. I'll buy basically anything just to try it once. Like I'm a just try it once, at least once kind of person, right? So I'll do that. And I've done it a bunch of times. Of course, some of this stuff is very specific, like this 58 Les Paul Jr. Custom Shop thing is very specific. And it's something that I've really, really wanted for a long time. The thing is that if I didn't have faith in the brand, and if I didn't value the custom shop status of it, and we're going to talk about status, I probably wouldn't have spent the money. It was $4,000. So, it's not cheap. But it's worth it to me. It gave me the thing that I wanted to give me. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love my Les Paul. I love my SG Junior. Actually, to tell you the truth, I love all of my guitars. I only buy stuff that I really love. And I keep stuff that I really love. And if I don't love it, I get rid of it, and if it comes and it's got a problem, I return it. No big deal. It's kind of interesting that it's really that easy. And what's funny about it is cost doesn't matter, right? Like last week's guitar was $500. It was the Hello Kitty Squire. This week's guitar was not $500. Next week's guitar, what is next week's guitar? It's a Squire. Next week's guitar is a Squire. So, and that's not like, oh, I'm looking for clicks here. It's just what I'm personally interested at the time and what I'm working on, what I'm doing. It's kind of fun. Like this is fun. And the stuff that I buy and keep, I actually like. The Hello Kitty guitar is not for sale. Just so everybody knows, that's a guitar that's not leaving this premises. I love that thing. So it has nothing to do with money. It just has to do with, does the thing do what I want it to do? Right? And so the question is, who are you? Are you an Epiphone guy? Are you a Gibson guy? Are you a Harley Benton guy? Are you a Fender guy? Are you a Squier guy? Are you a PRS SE guy? Are you a PRS, what's the fancy one with all the letters and stuff in 10 tops and all that? Private Reserve. Are you that guy? The thing is, there's no wrong answer. People will have egos about this, and they will have self-limiting beliefs about it. Like, I will never have, or I will never be as good enough to deserve, or I will, right? That's just self-limiting. That's self-limiting talk. That has nothing to do with the product. People will talk about how their audience doesn't care. Audience can't tell it's a custom shop. I don't care what the audience thinks. They're drunk. I don't care what they think. I'm having fun. If I don't have fun, I don't play well. So if I'm not having fun playing what I'm playing, then I'm not going to play well. And they're not going to stay drunk. Simple as that. But it really has nothing to do with them, right? I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So I want to use something that helps me to enjoy what I'm doing. This whole thing about the audience thing, that's just stupid. I've always felt that was stupid. Let's see. All right. Well, let's go through some of these comments really quick and see what kind of guys you are. Now, here's something to think about. Didn't PRS send you some pedals a while back? I'm not. Yeah, I've gotten a bunch of little peripheral stuff, but I'm talking about guitars. So let's see. Hang on. I'm going to scroll back here. And we're going to go and look at some of these comments because I'm figuring out what I want before going for the Gibson. I dig that. I just got a new Gibson. I wish their QC was better though. Send it back. Send it back. That is not an excuse. The whole QC thing is stupid. If it's not good, send it back. You would do it with a vacuum cleaner. You would do it with a car. You would do it with a blender. Why don't you do it with a guitar? Send the freaking thing back. Don't complain about it on the internet. Send it back. That's all there is to it. That's super simple. About to trade my Gibson Tribute and an Epiphone LP Custom and cash for a Gibson Standard. Sweet. That's cool. Let's see what else we got here. There's a lawyer joke. Well, you're a lawyer, so that would make sense. Does loving my Epiphone Les Paul and looking forward to my first Gibson make me a Gibson person? So we should talk. Let's stop right here and talk about that. I love it. I think it's amazing. I think you can be more than one thing, right? I mean, I have a bunch of Squiers and I have some fancy guitars too. The point is not necessarily to put yourself in a box. It's honestly, to me, it takes you out of the box. If you can enjoy all of it and not talk crap about any of it, that makes you cool, right? I mean, honestly, really. And I think that's what's fun about it. But I also think that there is a level of aspiration. Now we're going to get back to that talking crap about stuff because you are already jumping. I can hear about my feelings on Harley Benton. So we'll get back to that in a minute. But I really think that, and this statement really kind of goes along with that, is there's an aspirational kind of a dream feeling, sort of a progression to like having an Epiphone and like being excited about someday getting a Gibson, right? It took me, I would say 20 years to get the guitar that I just got last week, Now, did it take me 20 years to save up for it? No, but it took me 20 years for all the ducks to be in a row and the various things to fall into place and, you know, to get to the spot where I could get it. And so, you know, it's not just about, you know, oh, I can afford it now. It's literally like everything had to be in the right place to get it. Same thing with my D28. That's why I feel about that guitar too. That took me even longer because I wanted one of those for a long time too. So I think there is an aspirational nature to this kind of stuff. And I think it's important because dreaming is good, right? Like wanting something cool is good. And I think that's really important. So let's talk about the Harley Benton thing in this context, because a lot of people say, well, you talk bad about the Harley Benton. I don't actually. I don't. You can have a Harley Benton. I will not. Okay. I do not have use for it. I do not like them. I don't have any reason to, I will not review them because I don't want to support them or get support from them financially. You have to understand that I'm turning down a lot of money by saying no to that. There is huge potential in affiliate dollars. I mean, huge potential, because they came to me a bunch of times, and I mean, it's massive. Like, it's really good. I could make really good money with Harley Benton, but I just don't. I don't want to. I don't like them. I don't sell stuff that I don't support stuff that I don't believe in, and I don't believe in them. I don't like them, so I'm not going to support them. You can buy them. I have no problem with you buying them. What I have a problem with is the snobbery that comes with it. And people will, I can hear, well, you have fancy guitars, so you're a guitar snob. That can go the other way too, right? Like, I like what I like, okay? I'm not telling you have to like what I like. I'm not talking you into it. I'm just telling you that you should enjoy what you enjoy and that you should be aspirational. And I think those brands, I guess what I don't like is the people who want to accumulate 20 of them just for the sake of being cheap and then say that they're just as good as something else, when we all know, including the people that own them, they're not. Okay? Which is okay. It's totally fine. But you don't need to proselytize about it. You don't. If you like it, you like it. That's cool. That means you're a Harley Benton guy, right? Which is totally fine. Fortunately, we can make them sound decent. But, you know, so anyway, those cheap, all the Chinese guitars, all the Chinese knockoff guitars are in the same category for me. I understand why they exist for certain people, but I think that the market for those guitars should be smaller than it is. I think the people that actually should play those guitars is fewer in number than A, people think it is, and B, their marketing budget encourages. That's what I'm going to say. Let's see. Custom shops always felt better in the hands to me. For that reason, they're worth it. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Talking about the really expensive stuff. So obviously, when we look at any guitar that costs a lot of money, okay? When we look at any product that costs a lot of money when there is a cheaper one available, there is a diminishing returns sort of thing, right? Like, you go from one of those cheap Chinese knockoff guitars to an Epiphone, and it's a huge delta. Like, the guitar is very good in comparison to when we're looking technically at the guitar. Okay. When you go from an Epiphone Les Paul to a Gibson Les Paul, there's a huge delta. However, it's a different kind of thing because it's a thing that is more based on a player's ability to understand some of the nuances that go into guitar construction, guitar feel, and all that sort of stuff, right? So, and then we go from like a standard anything, Fender anything, to a custom shop version, and then it's even tighter, right? There is still a big delta, but only if you're the person who can recognize those differences. Not everybody will, which is totally fine. It's not a it's not a diss on anybody who can't tell the difference. It's just that certain people will be able to tell the difference, and those people are custom shop people. If you can't tell the difference, then good for you, in the sense that you just saved yourself a bunch of money, right? Like if you can't tell the difference between an Epiphone Les Paul and a Gibson Les Paul, and you think they're basically the same, except for one's more expensive, that's okay. You're just an Epiphone guy. It's no big deal. It just means that what you appreciate about a guitar can be given to you by what's in an Epiphone, and it just saves you $1,500. If you play a Les Paul and you go, oh, dang, this is good, it's way better, then all of a sudden you're becoming a Gibson guy. And this is a sliding thing. As you get experience, as you learn things, as you enjoy the hobby is the key here. If you are a spec freak and you spend a bunch of time in forums looking at parts lists, and this is the difference between these two guitars and that's not worth it because blah, 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 then you'll probably not end up becoming a person who appreciates more expensive guitars. It's fine. It's totally fine. But if you actually enjoy playing and you actually start to understand some of those finer nuances, and they make a bigger difference to you as you gain that experience, then chances are you're going to go, oh, wow, man, I didn't always used to be able to tell the difference between this and this, but now I can because I've gained this experience and I'm a more well-rounded human being and guitar player, and now I can tell, right? Which is really cool. Like it's growth, right? It's just a kind of a growing thing. It was just really fun. And the cool part is you never really, if you're really cool about this, and you're actually a cool person and not like an internet comment douchebag, you still like the cheap guitars that you still have, right? So you never stop liking the stuff that you had before because you see the value in it as a different thing. So, you know, if I've got this Hello Kitty guitar and it's not a custom shop Strat, it is not my Mike McCready made in Mexico Strat, it's not my Silver Sky, it's not my personal custom, you know, the guitars that we build here. But I get what it is, and I think it's awesome, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm not going to sell it. I think it's awesome because I can value it for what it is, right? And I think that's really, really important because it helps you to enjoy the hobby more. You do less spec chasing. You do less, you know, fighting in comment sections. You just enjoy all the different things for all the different reasons. It's just more fun. And as you begin to have appreciation for, you know, the finer nuances of stuff, finish types and finish aging, and, you know, like this VOS finish is really nice. I'm glad that it's not like super shiny. It's not relic or anything, but it's just not shiny. And I like that. It feels good. Like even just on your arm, you know, it feels good. And the way the neck is finished, I really like that too. So, you know, like those kinds of things, you start to feel that stuff and understand that stuff. You're just a more well-rounded guitar player. And you can still see the value in the other parts too, which is really fun. It makes it really fun, right? But I think part of it is that you have to focus on expanding what you love instead of just talking crap about stuff you don't love. Now, I've said it before. When I die, I want to be known for what I love. And those of you that know me know what I'm into. You know what I mean? And I think that's really cool. Let's see. Let's see. I have a Gibson Custom Shop, Les Paul. It hasn't made me love my imports any less. Is it better than these guitars? Yep, sure. But it didn't tarnish the other stuff. See, and that's good. And it's interesting that you understand that. And so what did you do? You ended up liking more stuff, which is fun, right? Let's see here. I'm trying to go back through some of these comments. Sarge, I recognize that guy in the thumbnail. Yep. He's doing good. We just changed out all his habitat yesterday and got him all freshened up. He's doing really good. He's finally eating super regularly, and yeah. I'm a kit guy. See, that's cool. And what's really neat about the kit guys is that's a whole subsection, and they know a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know. When it comes to parts compatibilities and stuff, I stay pretty standard when it comes to that stuff because I like what I like. And when I'm building stuff, you know, when we're talking about, well, let's just say the kit stuff isn't always super premium products. So what they have to do is they have to understand the parts compatibilities, and they, you know, if they're going to swap out these tuners for this or that or whatever, you know, and do that stuff, they know all of that. And I mean, I know the basic, obviously, parts compatibility stuff from experience for the last decades, 40 years maybe. And, you know, so I get it, but they have a whole different perspective, and I think that's really neat. Yeah, the kit guys are definitely their own breed, and I dig that a lot. I am trying to go back through these comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. Looking at your Les Paul style wiring upgrade kit, will that work in an Epiphone Les Paul? Yes, it will. Those are short shaft pots, and it will work in any of those guitars. Yep. Absolutely. I identify as a Godin guy, but I've never played one. Okay, so you know the thing is are you Canadian? Again, there's the aspiration of that, and you don't have to stay in one place. You don't have to like just one guitar for your whole life, you know. And I know that there will be a lot of people who feel that, well, you know, that's nice because budget and I can only afford what I can afford. Well, that's okay. That means you're that guy. Whatever that is. That's cool. I love it. Too many good guitars to get tribalistic. I'll play them all. That's kind of the way I am. I just feel like I want to try them all. But I'm that way about anything. I want to try all the things all the time. Doesn't matter what it is. All the cars, all the pocket knives, all the scotches, all the bourbons, you know, whatever. Doesn't matter. I just want to try everything. Not to pick, but shouldn't that be the long shafts and Les Paul wiring? So in an Epiphone Les Paul, it will be short shaft. In a Gibson Les Paul, it will be long shaft. Because the tops are milled differently in an Epiphone. There's a bunch of Gibson people in here. That's funny. Speaking of scotch, what are you drinking? Oh, actually, I'm drinking coffee. And this is coffee that Scott actually in the comments sent us. So thank you, Scott. That was really good. It's from Hawaii, which is cool. I like the not a Gibson guy at the moment. That's pretty cool. That just means you got aspirations. Means you can want stuff and dream about stuff and explore stuff. Super fun. I love it. I just think it's a much more positive way to think about all this stuff. And gives you an excuse to try everything, which is what I want to do, you know? So, yeah, man. Well, let's see. I'm going to let this go for a couple of minutes. Does anybody have any guitar questions before we go today? I know it's only been about a half an hour, but I feel like we pretty effectively covered that. And it's pretty positive, and I think everybody kind of digs the vibe on that, and I think that's pretty neat. Not me, PRS Fender Aria Pro 2. Oh, sweet. So I don't have an Aria Pro 2. My dad does. But I had his Aria Pro 2 for many years, and I really liked that guitar. I think it was before I was making pickups. I think it had Seymour Duncan, JB and a Jazz in it, maybe. That was a really neat guitar. Currently saving for an Ebony Custom. Cool. Do you make narrow field pickups? So not the NF. No, we don't. Yeah, we don't. I'm an Ibanez lawsuit guy. There was actually never a lawsuit about that. I think that's always really funny. But those guitars are neat. They're just too heavy. They're too heavy, and you have to replace everything in them because the pickups kind of suck. But they are cool. They're definitely cool. So I think my Aria Pro 2 was in. Oh man. I want to say it was a something 450. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. A Mod Shop Studio and a Slash. Dude, that new studio is the jam. That guitar is really, really cool. I have a Slash Les Paul. Would you prefer the P90s over the NF? Every day of the week. I'm an absolute P90 freak. We make the best ones in the world. I love P90s. I have them in, well, if you saw yesterday's video, I have them in a bunch of guitars. I'm a P90 nut. Absolutely. My Ibanez weighs 12 pounds. Dude, it really does. Got to try some Oban. I like Oban. I've had it around. Do you think putting expensive pickups in a cheap guitar is worth it By cheap, I mean something like an Epiphone or a Squier. Absolutely. So is it worth it? Only matters to you. It doesn't matter to anybody else. If you want to do it, do it. That's it. If you have a guitar and you want to put pickups in it, put them in it. It's always worth it because you learn, you learn. That's the biggest thing. And you enjoy the guitar when it's done. It's always worth it. It's never not worth it as long as you think it is. I mean, it's your guitar. We have to get out of the habit and out of the mindset of the fact that anybody on the internet has anything to do with the stuff that we want, including me. Like, if you like what you like, don't listen to me. Don't. Just get what you want. And so if you have a $200 guitar and you want to come to Dylan Talks Tone and spend $275 on a set of humbuckers and stick it in your $200 guitar, do it. It'll be fun. Like, it's fun. You will gain from that. So, and they don't have to stay in there. It's not a permanent thing. Like, this is not, Let's see. What do you think the advantages of saving up for? What do you consider the advantages of saving up for an expensive guitar compared to buying, say, the cheapest Squier and upgrading it? So that depends on you as well. So again, we're coming back to you. I don't know how long you've been playing. I don't know what you like about your guitar and what you don't like about your guitar and what you are looking for in a guitar. So if you have aspirations of having a Squier with good pickups in it, will that get you what you want? If you want to save up for a standard something, like an American whatever, will that get you what you want? And do you have the patience to do it? That's really the thing. It's up to you. Personally, I would do both over time, right? And that doesn't have to all be at once, right? It could take decades if you want. It took me decades to get this guitar I just got last week. So, don't think that it has to all happen right now, but maybe both. And if you don't know the answer to that question, is it worth it? Then it probably isn't. So if you're a person who says, is that $5,000 guitar worth it? Then it probably isn't for you. I think that when you buy a guitar like that, or anything super premium, without understanding what you're getting, then you A, may be disappointed, and B, probably could have saved yourself a bunch of money. Right? And that's with any premium product. If you don't really understand why it's cool, or you have a reason for thinking it, like, don't buy it just to buy it, Use value over resale value. Yeah. So that's a thing too. A lot of people will talk to me about resale value, and I don't care about it because I do put that thought into it before I buy it. So if you look at the guitars that I bought, and I'm in a little different spot because I'll buy guitars for the channel, right? Like, we buy a guitar for a project and we do a bunch of stuff to it, and then I'll sell it when it's done. But the guitars that I bought for myself, like this Gibson, what are some other ones? Well, obviously my D28, I've got a Tele, my Mike McCready Strat, my Gibson SG, my PRSs, I got 2 PRSs, and even the Hello Kitty guitar and my, Machine Gun Kelly, Schecter PT. Those guitars all of those I bought for me. And I knew before I bought them that I really wanted them. And none of them have been sold because they're mine. I did the thought and I thought about it and now they're mine, and that's it. I don't have to worry about resale value. You know, if you're going to be a short-term owner of a guitar, know that you're going to lose money on that. And I guess that's, to me, why I would put the thought into all of this other stuff that we've been talking about. Because honestly, just buy the guitar you want. And I would say that even applies to folks who don't feel that they have the budget to buy the guitar they want. Then don't buy one. Save up and buy the guitar you actually want. Okay? Because I think financially it's a better move because you'll keep it forever. You know, don't forget that, you know, this custom shop guitar that I just got, my D28, actually any of these, you know, more premium than Les Paul, those are lifelong instruments, right? These are not, you know, it's not like my car in the driveway that it gets to X amount of miles and it's time to kind of go get a new one because it's sort of, you know, I need to keep it up and I need to have something reliable and blah, you know, whatever. It's not disposable. Like guitars aren't disposable. So if you amortize out $4,000 over the rest of your life, it's really not that much money. You know, think about how many movie tickets that is or whatever per year. And it's just not that much money. So yes, it's a big ask on the front, but that's also why if you put the time into it, you save up for it, you get it, it's something that you really do want, you'll have it for the rest of your life. And all those Chinese knockoff guitars and Harley Bentons and all that, you won't. Those are disposable pieces of garbage. They just are. You know? They're like a printer. They're like the brother printer of guitars. That's what they are. I know, because I was fighting with my brother printer this morning. It says it has a paper jam, and I don't know why, because there's nothing wrong with it. I've only used it 3 times. That is a Harley Benton guitar. The brother printer of guitars. It's just, it's not for a hobby that should be driven by passion and creativity, like guitars are. Why would you pick an instrument that lacks that? I don't get it. Unless you're the person who's like really loves modding and, you know, and whatever. But, you know, the collecting 8 cheap guitars instead of getting something that you'll have for the rest of your life just doesn't make sense to me. You know, just wanted to say the studio's looking great. Thanks, man. Getting close to the holidays, what would you recommend for a beginner in 2024, 2025? First guitar for a 16-year-old. They don't know what music they like yet. So what I would do there, I would say a classic vibe something, and let them pick. So if you get a classic vibe anything, you know it's going to be good. It's going to be a decent guitar, right? It's not a ton of money to invest, right? So with $400 to $600 depending on the model or whatever. And then they'll know, they may not know what kind of music they want to play, but they know what kind of music they identify with. So like, you know, because they know what a Strat looks like. They'll at least be able to be like, you know, I saw her playing this on the Grammys. I saw, you know, I don't know, whoever they're into, it doesn't matter. Whatever artist they're into, the shape of the guitar they'll recognize. You know what I mean? And it won't limit them, you know. If they want to play pop music, then they can get that guitar. You know, any of those guitars can make a bunch of sounds, so it doesn't matter, right? So a Strat, a Tele, you know, whatever, Jazzmaster, it doesn't matter. I think you just let them pick based on what they're drawn to and get them a classic vibe something. I think that'd be great. I think that's a great entry level guitar. Now, so we could talk about all day long. I feel like folks will say, well, you know, there's you could buy them a Harley Benton, or you could buy them a Sire, and it's just as good as blah, blah, blah. That's crap. And here's why. If they don't know what guitar or what style of music they want to play, then the only identification they have with the guitar is what they see, what they recognize, and the legacy of that, right? So X or Y artist that I know plays this guitar. Well, you should get this Harley Benton over here that's sort of like that one. It doesn't make the emotional connection for them. So, and it doesn't, there's no aspiration to that. Again, it comes back to this notion of like wanting to get better as you go. So if you get them something that they recognize, the shape, the brand, you know, this is in the Fender family, this artist plays a Fender, whatever, or even an Epiphone Les Paul, but I think that's more money. It's more investment, right? But that's why I would say go with a classic vibe thing, because it gets them into the family, right? Then they start getting the emails. They start getting the online lesson emails. And I know that sounds like a bunch of marketing crap, but it works. It's true. When you get pulled into a community, just by nature of the product itself, that's really cool. I mean, you know, we're into some other hobbies and stuff where, you get pulled into the community in a positive way through emails and workshops and various things like that. And you're like, oh, well, this is really fun, you know? And so I think, you know, the Fender Play thing's cool. Like, you know, for those of you that are very experienced musicians and you're very, you know, you may not think so, but from the beginner perspective, that community is really cool. Building that's really cool. I dig it a lot. And they're not just great for the money. They're great full stop. They're a good guitar. The other thing is, what guitar do you play? So if you have a relative that you're trying to encourage to play guitar, did they look up to you for playing guitar already? So, you know, if, you know, they want to play what Uncle so-and-so plays, or Grandpa so-and-so, or dad or brother or whatever, because they look up to that person, you know, as a younger person, what do you play? And are they going to be inspired by that? Cool to think about. Unless it's a Harley Benton. Because again, aspiration, it's a thing. Well, cool, you guys. This is fun. Oh, super chat. Hang on. Ad free, guys. Thank you so much for the super chat, sir. I appreciate it very much. It was a hypothetical but interesting take on it. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. I would say a Fender Player Series is also a very nice starter. They are really cool. I agree. They're really cool. They are more money. It is a bigger commitment. And I think that a very beginner player may not appreciate the difference. But here's the thing that's really cool about Fender. It's the thing that sucks about Fender and the thing that's cool about Fender all at the same time. Is anything from classic vibe on up is awesome. So if you're willing to spend the money and it comes in a color they want and a shape they want, just buy it. Because it doesn't matter, right? So if it's a player two, a classic vibe, Even an Infinity, it doesn't matter. Like, they're good. They still function. They're great. Right. What else? And you could go on up from there. So yeah, if you're willing to spend the money and, the Classic Vibe doesn't come in a color that your person likes, then just get the other one. Doesn't matter. They're all good. All those guitars are really good. So it really doesn't matter. Another super chat. Ad free is still for me. Gibson guy, also still curious about the other brands. I agree. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. This has been super fun. I guess we will see you in our next video. I appreciate all your time, and go ahead and look in the description and check out those links and come to DylanTalksTone.com, buy some pickups. That's what really keeps us going around here. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next one.